Good evening, everyone. We're glad to see you here, and this is our first English stream this year, and this stream also will be the first in our line of streams that will be dedicated to different pipelines. So this is Ilya, and we have our hosts today. It's Andrey Egorov, who will be the main host, and our CTO, Alexander. So, say hello to our viewers.
Hello everyone.
Hi guys.
So today we'll open a random character we've downloaded. It's made and rigged for Blender. So we'll open it in Blender and we'll try to export it to Cascader, rig it, make some draft animations and import them into Unity. And now, so I guess we could start. This character has some poses, but we won't need them. So I'll go to File, Export, FBX. And I'll make some adjustments here. I don't need any IK bones or something, so I only need the foam bones. And I don't want to add leaf bones, so I disable it. And I'll leave here everything as it is and hit export. And now we can switch to Cascader. And one question we were asked in the Discord chat is about drag and drop, and so I'll just drag this FBX file and drop it into Cascader. And here's our character. And I guess I should start rigging it. First of all, I'll need to go to the rig mode. And open the quick rigging tool. So here we have.
By the way, you've changed the character mirror plane, but you actually you don't have to do that. It would have changed manually based on the positions of the joints.
Yes.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Maybe it's my habit or something. First, we should select here the joint to be associated with pelvis, and this is gonna be I guess it's gonna be torso. For stomach, I'll select spine 2, because it's deformation. And now I'll drag chest. Neck, head, and now I'll go to clavicle, upper arm, lower arm, hand,
So you're basically filling up all the dots with the corresponding joints, right?
Yes.
And yeah, one of the questions we were asked whether or not we plan to somehow automate this, and just want to tell that this isn't in the plans. We do want to make this process more automatic, although of course it won't guess correct for like all the possible options. And I think also a thing to avoid, and what I've seen in other programs when they try to guess what joints mean what, and they get it wrong, and sometimes it would be easier to not having filled anything automatically than having filled something wrong, and then you have to look out for it. So we'll try to avoid that when we add some automation.
Now I have to say I don't need to define every joint. I can just define the left side and mirror the definition. Now I can create a prototype rig.
By the way, can you show that you can actually export this bindings? Because sometimes, I don't know, before closing the quick rigging tool, can you show how you can export the file with the quick rigging tool settings? Because sometimes people ask us, what are, like, do I have to fill it over again? And yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't get auto-saved right now, but you can export, and it will just basically export a map that says what joint corresponds to what position in the rig. So you can export it and then import it back again.
Let's try this.
Yeah. Well, the automation, I mean on the part when you, especially when you do hands, but yeah. You can just, I think, close and reopen the rigging tool. Yeah. So we have a question. Hello, I'm a Blender user, but the tool I usually use is 3ds Max. Do you have any plans to stream Max's pipeline? Yeah, I think it is in the plans if the streams will be successful, and yeah, and Max will be requested. Yeah, Max is in the plans. Actually, Max is easier than many other software. For example, we also had questions whether or not we're gonna stream about I hope I pronounce correctly Houdini, and that would be harder as nobody in the team actually has any experience. But we have people who are experienced Max users, so yeah, I think we totally could do that.
And now for the correct work of our physics tools, these ellipsoids should follow the mesh, and to do this there is a property like rigid body width, and you can change it. Let's start from 40 maybe. 35. I guess 32 will do. And let's do the same for the chest part. And as you can see, all the masses are placed automatically from the quick rigging tool, so you don't have to fill them manually.
But you can change them if you want. The current masses are just the standard humanoid. Like I'm saying humanoid as if it's really general, but yeah, human standard masses. And we also have a comment, so the character does not have to be rigged in Blender, just the bones and binding. Yeah, other than the mesh, the bones, and the skinning that connects mesh to the bones, you don't have to rig IK or like how do you call it, IKFK rig. You don't have to do that. You won't be able to pass it over to Cascader, and like I think most animation programs, in case you're not using some add-on that like can be used in different programs, usually you can't transfer IKFK rigs between the different software, and yeah, with Cascader 2 you'll have to create this rig inside Cascader.
Well, now, as you can see, I'm adjusting the box controllers shape. It will make them more comfortable to animate. And I won't show you all the process. I already have a finalized trick for this character. I'll show you just some things. Like here, you can move these additional points closer to the mesh edge. Same for this one. And as you may notice, I've deleted the right part of the character, because I'm gonna mirror the left side to the right side after I'll make all my changes. And if you want the direction controller to be shorter, you can select this proto union, and there is a property called direction controller lens. And let's go to
That's a bug.
yeah, a little bit. Look, it's not an early access version. It's our
In-house version.
in-house version. Yes.
Yeah, it's more like Blender. So we've got a question. So we're on the pipeline Cascader Blender. Yeah, we're on the more like on the pipeline Blender Cascader Unity. So we aren't gonna get animation from Cascader into Blender, and sadly there are some problems with that right now. So for some rigs we do know workarounds, for some not, but not for every rig. We were going to look into that more. By the way, that's one of the questions we got before the stream, that we should add more settings to so that users can export from Cascader into Blender. So we're going to look into that. Hopefully, we can do it via the stuff that is inside of Bix SDK, but we'll see.
And now, to mirror my proto unions, there is a mirror group in the rigging tools window. I should select the mirror plane. It's YZ in my case, and I typed here _L and _R, and now when I hit create mirror object, bam, all my proto unions are now mirrored, and I don't have to manually change the right side of the character. And you can export this to the JSON file for later use. Like now, I'm gonna delete everything and import the JSON file for this character that was created earlier.
So we have a couple more questions or comments. Is it the new release? Right now, there's no release. The version we're using right now, it's an in-house version, but like so it's something between the latest early access 3 version, 2021.3 early access version, and the next version that will be available. I got a lot of troubles when I export from Cascader to Blender. I hope I learn how to fix it. Yeah, but actually, sadly, not on this stream, but we do plan a separate stream for this. But before that, it will be probably after the next version, because we're gonna get something fixed and some new options to make Cascader to Blender pipeline easier. Although I think for some rigs, in some cases, you can do that even right now. And of course, you can, like, if you're gonna write scripts on the Blender side, then you can do almost anything. But yeah, Andrey.
And
Just a second, just wanted to also comment this comment in chat because of it's sounded very funny because we also need to learn how to fix it.
Let's let Andrew speak, because he's the one who actually tested it out and has some in-depth info.
there are some problems with scaling, and we'll try to find an option to make the exporting from Cascader to Blender more comfortable for users. Also, in next version, we are planning to make some improvement for Unreal Engine users, because there is a thing with up-axis difference between Cascader and Unreal, and we have a solution for this. So in the next version, probably you won't need to rotate the character when you import it. And now, as for the rigging part, our proto rig is complete, and I can hit the generate rig button, and here we are. So Cascader rig.
Yeah, and there's another question. Can you sum up the steps to rig properly in Cascader? I don't know, Andrey. Maybe I can try to kind of summarize it, and then you can fix anything if just say if I say something incorrectly. So basically, for a humanoid character, if you're happy with the quick rigging tool, and the pro of the quick rigging tool is that it will get auto posing working automatically. If you rig with it, you basically import the FBX file into Cascader, hit the button, the rigging mode button. It's on the top panel. Can you show it, Andrey? The rigging mode button.
Yes,
Thank you.
but there is a little bit like.
And then in the rigging mode, you enter the quick rigging tool and drag and drop corresponding joints to the corresponding body parts, and use mirror to make it easier. And then after that, you push create prototypes rig, and then you refine. You look at the rig. If everything is good, you just go on by hitting create rig. If something is not quite good, and in this case we wanted to adjust the sizes of the boxes, etc., then you adjust it only to one side of the character and delete with the delete rig element button the other side of the character. So usually we use we rig the left leg and the left arm, and then you select the character and push create mirror object once you've refined everything as you want it to be, and it will create the part of the rig for the right side as it has on the as the rig body parts you've created on the left side, and then you're ready to go, and you can hit generate rig or just exit the rigging tool. It actually does the same thing. If you press on the rigging mode button again, or press generate rig that is at the bottom of this menus on the left right now, and then you're ready to go basically. And in case you want to like reuse it for joints that are basically the same but have different proportions, you can also export all the settings into a JSON file and then import it. And if you have a character that is actually with different proportions, when you import, you should unpress the with T-pose, how do you call it? Button selector? I don't know. Don't know how. And then you're ready to go.
That's correct. And now let's go for the animation part. And one last thing I forgot. There is an option in Blender that I forgot to press. I don't want the animation, so I should unpress it. But I didn't do so. So there is some frames here. There are some frames here. I can delete them. And I'm gonna use auto posing tool. It's usually used for making draft poses, and our animators usually use point controller mode for further adjustments, and auto posing mode only for drafts. And I'm not gonna use point controller mode. I'm not good at animation. I'll make some keyframes now, like this. This frame I'm gonna do something like this. Here's my animation. It's not perfect.
VPC are clamped.
Yes, in this type of interpolation, it's not perfect either. But I'll go to point controller mode, select the center of mass, and try using auto physics tool.
In my opinion, for drafts, clamped is better because at least the legs stay stably at one place.
As you can see, with the auto physics tool, the pelvis is moving to compensate the movement of the whole body, and this looks a little bit more natural. And now I could snap to the green ghost, and here we are. Here's our animation. I can export it. Go to File, Export, without meshes, because I need only the animation. And I'll select my Unity project file folder.
By the way, we don't see the
Yes,
files.
and you're not supposed to.
Mhm. It hides some of the information, but it's okay. Also, there's a comment from the chat that the moves are too fluent, so if you can just do it a little bit slower.
Oh, play a little bit slower.
No, I think it's not about the play. It's more about the mouse. When you do everything fast, it's hard to see where the mouse goes, what you're pressing, etc.
Oh, okay, I'll try to move slower. I'll go to File, Export without meshes again. Wait a little bit.
I have a question. Is there any limit in terms of faces Cascader can work with? And faces, it's like the primitives, the triangles? If it's about the limit of on the number of triangles, we didn't actually test it, to be honest. But poly count, yeah. We didn't test it, but it's our own rendering system, so I doubt it will work with more than. I think the maximum amount of and we're actually triangulating the mesh, so we'll work only with triangles, and that's one of the reasons why you won't where you want to export FBX from Blender and then put this FBX from Blender into the Unity or Unreal, and from Cascader export only the animation on the joints. Yeah, so the maximum, as I remember, was I think several hundred thousand polygons, triangles, and it worked okay, but yeah, it's not that powerful. So usually our models are less than 100 triangles, but we could do a more accurate test, I think. I know, Andrew, maybe you know.
Recently, I've got an FBX from our user in Discord. There was a scorpion, and it was the weight of the scene was about 100 megabytes. So there were way too many polygons in this cactus mesh, and it worked with no lags.
Clear. Okay, so yeah, probably it's not. I think it will either work without lags or it won't work at all, because we are doing the skinning on the GPU, so it shouldn't be laggy, but it might just not work for a really large one.
I guess now we can switch to Unity, and I import our character from Blender.
Yeah, and here inside Unity, when you import an FBX from Blender, you can see if, like, you know, if you close the arrow. So basically, this is how you see all the files that are inside the project, inside the Unity project. But some files have a lot of stuff in them, and Unity sees that, and you can press on the arrow, and then it shows everything that is inside this FBX file. And yeah, and also if you select it, then you can see on the right top side. In our layout, in your layout it can be different. You can see the model recon animation materials tabs, and you can see the character. And now we have to change the type. We'll use mechanim with standard animator, a humanoid, like the standard presets. There are different ways to do this. We'll just do the easiest way, because that's kind of what this stream is, to demonstrate the easiest like
way.
the easiest pipeline you can have. But we'll get the animation running inside the inside the game tab of Unity. Okay, so we're changing to humanoid, and right now you're changing already for animation, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
we've changed the type to humanoid for the Blender FBX model. Okay, we have another question. Will the live be recorded? Yes, it will be recorded automatically. The YouTube does that. Okay,
Here's our animation in Unity.
yeah, and you can actually see that the file that is called anim1, it contains only the bones, so it doesn't contain the mesh. And you should export only the bones from Cascader, so like your project won't grow too much. The size of the FBX files will be smaller this way. And but we've in Unity we've set the how to call it, the avatar for this FBX file and the target model that is the to the file we exported from Blender, and so now Unity actually understands this animation is for this model from Blender that is called polymesh something, and it actually even lets us preview the animation. So what will be our next steps?
Guess we should add. Oh no, not here. We should add. Yeah.
You skipped it. You skipped it.
We should add animation controller.
So if we want to actually play some animations inside the scene, inside the Unity scene, inside the game, the mini game we'll be creating, we have to create an animator controller, and then we'll use it. Afterwards, we'll use it. And here on the animator controller, we can set up some logic, which animation will be played when, and how animations will blend into each other. We'll do the easiest thing, just put this animation on and get our character to play this animation. Right?
Maybe we should have another animation.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I just re-interpolate it. Delete this keyframe. I'll leave this keyframe and delete this and this keyframe. No. Maybe I'll delete this keyframe and let's see what our AutoPhysics tool will do with this animation. Oh no, it's jumping because I've deleted the middle keyframe and the character is in the air with no fulcrum points, so the AutoPhysics tool thinks that it's a jump, probably. Let's export this as another animation. Export without meshes. Let's call it anim2. And let's go to Unity. Here it is. I'll select this, select our avatar, hit apply. And here we are. Here's our animation. Let's move it into the animator and let's make a transition. Now let's go to scene and drag our character here. And select our animation controller. And I guess now we can hit the play button, right, Sasha?
Probably yes. By the way, did it have the animator control on the character already, or you added it really quick that I didn't grasp it?
No, I edited manually.
With add component, right?
Oh, no.
So the animator controller, the animator behavior, one behavior, it was already there, and then you just set the controller to the animation controller we have created, and yeah. We actually won't probably see it because it doesn't fit into the camera. Yeah. Yes, we.
Strange thing I've noticed that our character was rotating. Guess we should disable root motion or something.
Yeah. Although we have to say we're not that much of, like, we're not experts in Unity. We do know basic stuff, but not too much. So I'm not sure if we should figure this out now. There are some options for the animation itself, and there are also options in the animation controller. I think there's more in the animation controller. I don't have any offset, I'm not sure.
I don't actually know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't know if we should dig into this. For some reasons we didn't have this here before, but probably then just the small changes in the animation can cause this, actually. So yeah, but it's basically this simple to create an animation and to rig the character in Cascader, create an animation and get the animation inside of Unity and then actually use it. So yeah, maybe there are some questions regarding the pipeline or what's the hardest part, or maybe there were some problems you have encountered that we could look into.
Until our character is completely gone from the scene.
Where she's going?
I don't know.
Think forward to the horizon. Oh, thank you. One more.
There is a comment that should help. Disable root motion on the animator to fix it.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff is controlled in the animator. Yeah, so probably as some of you know how to work with animator much better than we do. Yeah. If there aren't any questions, I think I just want to add that we'll try to make more tutorials about different programs and workflows, and maybe look at some common errors that occur, problems that occur when you go via some of the pipelines. But it would be really nice if first, it would be really nice if you comment what was helpful, what was not helpful on the stream, and how we could improve it. And one more thing, if if there is anybody who's an expert with some software and actually uh, would like to participate in a stream, that would be really, really nice, because like we're not experts in all the 3D software, so yeah. There were questions whether we would stream pipeline including Houdini, Godot, and some other software. Blender is we're not experts in Blender at all. It's really new for us, but yeah, we'll try to research it, as a lot of you actually use Blender. But regarding other software, if there's somebody who's a professional who's really good at it and could stream and show standard stuff, that would be really nice.
Andrey, there was a correction. Animator controller root motion, where you can find this option. And Sasha had the questions. A question to you: what software we can use by our team for next stream before we will find or we will learn some new software? Maybe at Maya, maybe at Unreal Engine.
So what will be the next stream? The next pipeline stream? Which software it will have? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Maya and Unreal are like the next top popular yeah, software that is used with Cascader, so probably that. There's also a comment or question. So for Cascader to Blender, you would export the skeleton and use that to deform the original skeleton. But yes, use that to deform the original skeleton Blender. Yeah, totally correct. You don't want the triangulated mesh that is coming from Cascader. The I think that the main pipeline should include exporting bones from Cascader, animated bones from Cascader, into Blender and applying them to the original model that might actually be rigged in Blender. So, and of course, if it is rigged, then you have to apply it to the rigged model, and how to apply and baked animation to a rigged model. It's a different question, and it actually depends on the rig, but usually there are some options to do that. But yeah, certainly there's no meaning in taking the mesh that was exported from Cascader. Okay, I think if there are any other questions, I think we can wait for a couple of minutes.
There is a comment that our guest is waiting for pipeline Cascader Blender, but we suppose it was settled before. We suppose that it will be done only after next release.
Fortunately, it's not that straightforward. It's possible, but it depends on the model. There are some scaling issues that arise when you export from Blender and then back to Blender, and it takes time to figure out where the problem is on the Blender side, on the Cascader side. Yeah, so it's usually solvable, but it's sometimes not that easy, not that straightforward, unfortunately.
So I was saying, because of if we want to make the show fully workable pipeline, we need uh, to be sure that it works fine.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys will fix any issues. Thank you. We'll work hard on it.
So I guess maybe that's all.
Yeah,
That's
I suppose that's all as well, because of I think that Friday is uh just second, like a new comment. We need tutorial about interaction fight animation between two characters, like Assassin's Creed and Shadow Fight and Mortal Kombat. Yes, I think that we need this tutorial, but uh, I can't tell you when it will be available, because for this moment we are strictly busy with a full course tutorial for about work and animation with Cascader, and it should be released in February. And after that, we will try to figure out what we can do with the next tutorials.
Yeah, but maybe we can have a stream about that, because I think our streams will not be only about pipelines, and maybe actually an animation stream will be more interesting, because with pipelines we're working with other software where we're not that much of experts, and we're showing the basic stuff, but animation is something. It's like the coolest part of Cascader. It's what Cascader is about, so it should be much more fun. But we'll see how we can do streams with actually showing how we do animation and how you tackle different animation tasks. I think we can't. What do you call it? We can't tell for sure. Set concrete dates, etc. But we'll try to organize some streams about animation too.
Yes, and so
I can say about the interaction between two characters that currently there is no any ragdoll physics in Cascader or physics collisions. So there is something you could use to make this interaction more realistic. There is a center of mass, and you can see its trajectory, and there are some tricky things about this trajectory, because if your character's body parts are moving faster or slower, the other body parts will compensate this movement, and the overall motion of the center of mass will still remain smooth. And there are some other things you can use.
And sorry, I think that what you just said, that applies also to the center of mass that you create for both of the characters, and when they're in midair and, like, for example, fighting each other or interacting, then you keep track, and all of what you said applies to the combined center of mass of the both characters.
Yes.
Okay. I also got a comment just to add small tutorials on how to use the software will be really helpful. Yeah, we actually do have tutorials on even on this channel. We have video tutorials, and we also have tutorials on the website. I think we'll add the links to them afterwards in the comments.
You can check these tutorials in description of this video because there are some links. For example, you can check it by description more helpful information, and there will be a link how to begin work with Cascader. So also there some help and join our Discord because of we have mostly communications there. So it's like almost everybody gone. I think that we can say goodbye to our guests and see them soon.
To use Cascader. Yeah, thank you everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.